Hey everyone! Have you ever seen your car puffing out black smoke from the exhaust and wondered what is happening on Earth? With that in mind, here are the 10 reasons your engine blows out those dark clouds. Spoiler alert, doesn't typically look as bad as that, but it is a sign that your car could use a little TLC. Let's check them out. 10. Faulty oxygen sensor. With that said, have you ever considered how this tiny sensor significantly impacts your car's performance? Like a nutritionist with whom only your engine can communicate, it precisely measures how much unburned oxygen is in your exhaust and relays this information to the engine control unit, ECU. It's like keeping your car's air-fuel mix perfectly balanced. A little Goldilocks homeostasis of just right. But what if it throws a tantrum though? It would be like your dietitian getting confused and telling you to eat double the burgers you usually would. Your engine is suddenly drinking far too much petrol. And when this happens, guesses what? Black smoke begins coming out of your exhaust. Think of it as your car's almost obnoxious cry for recognition. Although a faulty MAF is a small sensor, it can send your engine smack off its ideal operation zone. And believe me, you do not want to see your petrol bill in that station. It is advisable to get it examined sooner rather than later. So next time you see black smoke and suspect fuel overconsumption, remember that your oxygen sensor could be just screaming to be repaired. You will save fuel and your engine, and face it, that awful cloud of smoke that follows you everywhere. 9. Defective MAF sensor. Alright, next up is the MAF mass airflow sensor. If we're being technical, this sensor is also known as your engine's air traffic controller. It monitors the amount of air flowing into your engine and then passes that information to the ECU so it can add the appropriate amount of fuel. Sounds pretty crucial, right? Imagine that air traffic controller fighting with his partner or having a tough day. A dirty or bad MAF sensor can screw up the work big time. What it is rather than sending your ECU a precise command, it's sending it an inaccurate command. The result? It can command the engine to dump in additional fuel under the assumption that there is more air than there is. And what happens after this little kerfuffle? You guessed it, more black smoke billowing out of your exhaust. You are not only burning unnecessary fuel and polluting, but you're also not getting your money's worth from your motor. Neglecting it can cause more trouble in the future, such as damaging your catalytic converter. If your vehicle is spewing black smoke like it has a role in a scary movie, one solution to the puzzle is checking the MAF sensor. So please keep it clean and happy. Your engine will reward you. 8. Dirty air filters. Let's talk about air filters, which are notoriously neglected but crucial. Just as your lungs help you breathe, an air filter aids your vehicle in taking in the fresh, cool air scooter. But what if it all gets gummed up, like trying to breathe through a closed ski mask? Not great, right? Your engine needs a combination of air and fuel to run, but a dirty or clogged air filter limits the airflow that will reach your engine. This may not seem like a huge ordeal, but when the air-fuel ratio is thrown off, and then things go haywire. Rather than a nice, well-composed air-fuel blend, your engine starts running on straight gasoline ambition, burning more fuel than it is designed to burn due to a shortage of air in the mix. The consequence? You may see the surly black smoke puffing out of your exhaust as your car shouts, "Help!" Not only does this create additional smoke, but it also negatively affects the economy and can reduce performance of your engine in the long run. Which means, if your car isn't breathing right, it is worth stopping by and checking that air filter, replace it, and it can let your engine breathe clean air. And your wallet, your engine, and the environment will literally hit you with a round of applause. Promise. 7. Damaged piston rings. Now let's look at some of the internals, such as piston rings. Think of them as soldiers protecting your engine, making sure the oil stays on its side of the pit wall and never crosses into the combustion chamber. The rings sit tightly around the pistons, ensuring everything turns in time as the pistons move up and down. However, as we know, with any good protector, the piston rings can wear or be damaged and not perform their job as intended. And all of a sudden, it all goes to hell in there. And engine oil finds its way into the combustion chamber, which can put a dent in your wallet via more frequent oil changes. If that exhaust is a little too inky, it may think about those piston rings. Just like with your fuel injectors, inspecting them for damage and replacing them only when necessary will save you from more significant headaches later. After all, happy piston rings equal so glad engine. 6. Engine deposits. Let's talk engine deposits. Think of your engine as a finely tuned symphony. However, as time goes on, carbon buildup can occur, which is what you can think of as noise interrupting the signal. These deposits are typically found where the unburned fuel residue that's sticking to those surfaces, sort of like a sticky residue, is less than welcome. Fuel injectors, valves, and the combustion chamber. With these deposits building up over time, your engine might start sounding closer to a garage band practice than a concert. The result? Loss of performance, poor fuel economy, and, yes, more of that unwanted black smoke. But fear not. The good news is you can restore peace in your engine with a couple of miracle fuel additives. These additives act like zealous cleaners, scrubbing off those deposits and putting the get up and go back in your engine. By using quality fuel and regularly dosing these cleaners into your fuel system, you can keep those deposits away and your engine running like a well-oiled machine. This is a simple task that will add days to the lifespan of your vehicle and enjoy a comfortable journey. If, next time, your engine sounds the slightest bit out of tune, think engine deposits, and you might see that it simply needs a tune-up. 5. Leaking fuel injector. Let us turn our attention to those little fuel injectors, the sentinels that control when and how much fuel enter the engine. They ensure that the precise amount of fuel enters the combustion chamber. Think of it like pouring your cereal. Too little and it's dry. Too much and it's a soggy disaster. A leaking fuel injector is like a constantly overflowing bowl of cereal. It continues to feed the engine excess fuel, far excess fuel. Well, this combustion fuel does not fully burn. So what is the result? A rolling plume of black smoke behind your car, auditioning for a part as a fog machine. Not only does this create an ugly puff of smoke, but can result in poor fuel economy, reduced engine performance, and possible damage to other components, including your catalytic converter. This can be serious concern if left unchecked. Fortunately, a leakage can be detected with an inspection by a mechanic, and once they've repaired the leak, your engine's fuel-adding orchestra will be back in harmony. Keeping maintenance of the front foot may keep those injectors happy and your exhaust clear. Well, if that black smoke comes up, just remember, it could well be a leaking injector playing a sneaky role behind the stage. 4. Blocked EGR valve. Diesel engines. Let's talk diesel engines and the sometimes shady EGR valve. Exhaust gas recirculation, EGR valve, is the engine recycling plant. It takes a portion of exhaust gases and brings them back to the combustion chamber. Why, you ask? To reduce nitrogen oxide emissions and keep the engine running smoothly. But what if the recycling plant, the EGR valve, becomes clogged? Now it becomes a secret villain, hiding behind sluggish performance. And of course, the black cloud out of your tailpipe. Instead of allowing your engine to breathe, it creates a pileup of exhaust gases, which then disrupt the exact delicate air-fuel ratio your engine was designed to run at. 3. Lower grade fuel. Let's fuel up the conversation by talking about, not surprisingly, fuel. Motor oil is the blood of your engine, but not all blood is created equal. In some cases, the thing responsible for the black puff of exhaust can be as simple as the fuel you are using. Fuel aged in the tank or low-quality fuel can be a pain in the neck. If the fuel has been laying around for a long time, such as the depths of winter or the forgotten jerry can of fuel from last season, it might have lost some of its combustibility. What this means is that it does not combust due to the higher carbon and hydrogen content and the aforementioned black smoke. and resultant poor combustion leads to, you guessed it, black smoke and poor running of the engine. This also weak fuels or high sulfur fuel can even damage to the entire system of your car. They can contaminate the combustion, producing more carbon deposits and again, too much smoke. The solution? Buy good or even better fuels and pay attention to how long that fuel is sitting around. And if you think your ride is drinking too much in the low-octane variety, a fuel system cleaner will clean up all the leftover sludge and keep everything running right. 2. Excessive engine load. Let's explore the dynamics way that we drive and pack the car. Balance is key, eh? Under normal circumstances, your engine has to handle the bulk of the car and its speed. Well, until you max your ride over the payload limits or just really stomps on that gas pedal. Pretend that you have a really heavy backpack and are walking up a steep hill, you may get a little bit of puffing and panting. Likewise, overloading your car or flooring it and fully loading the engine with far too much power will make your engine work much harder than it should. The healthiest of engine can even respond to this additional load by spitting out a touch of black smoke. That smoke indicates that the engine is using more fuel to meet the demand, but usually with insufficient air to provide that nice, clean, and efficient combustion we all want to achieve. It isn't the end of the world. All this means is that engines are built to take a few hits of stress every now and again. If you find this happens regularly, however, you may need to review your driving techniques. Easing off the gas pedal or lightening your load will benefit your engine and your gasoline mileage. Kind of like giving your engine a more comfortable ride, which ensures everything stays cleaner and more efficient. So next time you get the car all loaded up or are blasting down the street, do it for your engine and keep that smoke to a minimum. 1. Regular maintenance lapses. Lastly, let's talk about the car care. Regular maintenance. While this should be obvious, dodging those 6-month service visits will cause a cacophony of problem, including black smoke malaise. Regular maintenance is like your car's checkup at the doctor's, because preventing minor inconveniences from escalating into major migraines is the name of the game. Frequent oil changes, air filter changes, and checkup ensure everything is operating smoothly and within the normal emissions range. Over time, when maintenance is deferred, life happens, we know. All the essential elements like filters and injectors end up breaking down, which leads to incomplete combustion and that nasty black smoke. More importantly, if you ignore these smaller tasks, over time, you can do some wear and tear damage to your engine, which might cause a dip in performance in the years to come, as well as a dip in longevity. That means if you are seeing more smoke and you have not seen your trusty mechanic in a while, it may be time to get back on schedule with your service. You can ensure your engine stays healthy, your ride remains smooth, and your emission is as clean as possible. Your engine and the environment will appreciate you. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to subscribe us for more insights. Let us know if you enjoyed this down in the comments section and give the video a like.